So recently I've been in iPhone hell. I constantly check Twitter, Instagram, YouTube analytics, Facebook, just everything. And it's a lack of focus, a lack of what I want to be doing that's kind of leaked into the rest of my life. I eat more snacks, I stay up later playing video games, I do more complaining. Inevitably, after looking at these things, I feel worse. Marcus Aurelius said, "Our life is what our thoughts make it." And if I continued this way, which felt like, honestly, like a hamster wheel combined with a treadmill, I knew I'd be done for. And what I really needed was a change. What I didn't know is this change would be in the form of a fallen tree. On a challenging hike with my brother one day, I remember we saw the path, the trail, was obstructed by a huge kind of fallen tree. And it looked like we might have to turn around to find another way to go back to where we came from. But my brother just turned to me and said, "The obstacle is the way." And I was like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And this was an idea he told me from Stoicism. When we were on the hike, we actually went over the fallen tree. We traversed the path. The obstacle was the way. And I think we were stronger because of it. My mentality was stronger afterwards. And the crazy cool thing was, this mentality could be applied to everything else in life. Maybe this Stoicism thing was the answer to my treadmill hamster wheel. Be courageous, focus on what you can control, experience hardship, enjoy and embrace fate, and be strong. These were principles that I could definitely get behind. So what is Stoicism? Well, Stoicism is a philosophy that focuses on living the best possible life. The major principles include self-control, justice, courage, and truth. And the philosophy school was born, and it was an actual school, was born around 300 BC from the Greek philosopher Zeno. And then it was furthered by famous Romans that we've all heard of, Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. And of course, this video is my first try 7 days into Stoicism, right? So it's not going to be a complete comprehensive guide into Stoicism. If you want to learn more, there's a really good guide on Coursera from UPenn that gives you an ancient philosophy course that includes many of these Stoic teachings. And you can see the classic texts from Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. But why am I doing this? Well, I wanted to change up my life a little bit. I wanted to be stronger, and not only physically, but mentally. The idea of being able to deal with anything, like anything that comes my way, just with the power of my mind was pretty appealing for me. So enter Stoicism. Who knew self-improvement was a thing 2,000 years ago? You are an old man. Stop allowing your mind to be a slave, to be jerked about by selfish impulses, to kick against fate and the present, and to mistrust the future. And as I was reading these quotes, reading these books, I was just inspired. I was like, these make sense. But reading's all good and well, but what about putting Stoicism into action? For the next 7 days, I would go full on into Stoicism.
Day one of trying Stoicism. So I'm going to try out like Stoic ideas and Stoic philosophy for the next kind of 7 days. And what that means is every morning I'm going to wake up very early, which is 5:30 in the morning right now. I'm also going to journal every morning and write down like what I'm going to do that day. I'm going to plan out every single day. I'm going to meditate every single day. I'm going to do a cold shower every single day. And then I'm going to also do a couple challenges over the next 7 days, because a lot of it is about, not experiencing like only cushy nice stuff. Experience some hardship just to see if you can do it. So one day I'm going to fast for 24 hours. Another day I'm just going to stand outside in like the cold rain for a while with like no jacket or anything on and just see like what happens there. And then the next day I'm just going to meditate for like 2 hours, which seems like a crazy amount of time. I've never meditated more than 20 minutes. I'm just going to see what happens. Like, for example, you're meant to remind yourself that bad things can happen. So I'm going to remind myself that, I might die. My whole family might die. Apparently that's meant to make you think kind of better about certain things. So I'm going to do that. That kind of sounds crazy. I'm going to do no sugar, no caffeine all week. God, what am I doing? And also no complaining. So today's day one. So I'm just going to move into it slowly, but I still have those things that I have to do every single day.
So day one, looking back on this, I tried way too much too soon. Waking up early, journaling, meditating, reminding myself I was going to die, it was a little bit too much for me.
Overall, so far, the Stoicism things, like, it's cool. It's just, I feel like there's a lot of, or at least for my experiment I'm doing, there's a lot of stuff to do. It's like 40 minutes into the morning. But
I tried to accomplish it all, but on day one, I just couldn't do it. And it didn't help at all that I didn't have my morning cup of coffee, and I was experiencing a headache that I think all caffeine addicts know very well. But oh yeah, I couldn't complain about anything either. I couldn't complain about it to my friends or to my family.
What I have to do during this Stoicism thing is I have to like picture some pretty grim things.
like I could just die tomorrow. My entire family could die tomorrow. And I think the idea behind it is if I wake up tomorrow, and of course, hopefully, I'm alive and my family's alive, that's a good thing. But it's also being so you're prepared, right, for the worst. Not expecting the worst necessarily, but prepared for the worst. And tonight, I'm going to start my 24-hour fast because I want to try, to challenge myself. No food, no water. The greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which hangs upon tomorrow and loses today. You are arranging what lies in fortune's control and abandoning what lies in yours. What are you looking at? To what goal are you straining? The whole future lies in uncertainty. Live immediately. Okay, good morning. So I've been fasting for about 12 hours now. Don't really notice it in my mouth. A little dry. But I've been awake for 2 hours, like just doing some good work because I realized I don't have to worry about like eating or drinking or anything like that. So far it's not too bad. Actually, I have so much time. I'm just gonna go shave. I should be back in 1 second. This should do well. Oh, those pens, they work really well. The food, I found out, wasn't a big deal, but the water was. I found myself thirsty and with a headache. It was difficult to focus. It was difficult to think. I tried to exercise. There was no way that was going to happen, and I was thinking, this is pretty dull. I was grumpy. I couldn't meditate. I couldn't write. I couldn't really do anything. I've got a couple hours to go on this fast thing here. It's, sorry about the dog in the background. A couple things I'm noticing, it's getting harder as time goes on. The other thing I'm noticing, I'm just colder. Like my temperature's down, my feet are colder. I have a headache. Maybe it's because I drink a cup of coffee every morning. Maybe I'm addicted. And then my ability to do work and like focus was like really, really good when I first woke up. And now it's like pretty bad. Like it's like 1 o'clock right now and my focus ability is like gone to shit. Masonius Rufus said, mastering one's appetite for food and drink is the beginning of the basis for self-control. Okay, fast is over. Had some food, still have a headache and feel like really tired. It's crazy, but I guess maybe it's because I ate a lot. But I remember thinking, I thought would become much sicker, much weaker if you weren't eating and if you weren't drinking. But by the end of the day, I was like, this isn't so bad. I could have easily done it again if I wanted to. What was I so worried about? So that was the end of day 2. But remember, every single day, I'm still waking up early. I'm still cold showering. I'm still meditating. I'm still journaling. I'm still embracing kind of hardship. Still no complaining. Still no sugar. Still no coffee. Still no coffee. And it was still tough. And I remember these activities that I would do in the morning would take like an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes. And I thought, am I wasting time? Is doing all this just a waste of time? While meditating one day for like 20 minutes, I was thinking, this feels like a waste of time. I could be creating a YouTube video right now, or writing something, or doing, I don't know, anything else. Seneca said, set aside now and then several days during which you'll be content with the plainest of food and very little of it, and with rough, coarse clothing, and you'll ask yourself, is this what I so feared? And remember, you're picturing the worst. So it was day 3 of picturing my entire family dead, and maybe I would die tomorrow, and this includes loved pets. Today, however, because I had been predicting this kind of sadness for 2 days, I remembered, wait a second, they're not dead, they're alive. That's pretty cool. My family's alive. Most of my family is here and kicking and healthy, and I get to spend time with them. That's, that's pretty cool. And then I was like, wait a second, Stoicism out of nowhere. That's the point. That's the point of it. If you predict the worst, if you predict kind of these bad things will happen, then maybe you'll be more grateful for the things you already have. And then worst comes to worst comes to worst, say the awful happens, the unthinkable happens, maybe you're a little bit prepared for it. Maybe it doesn't completely throw you off course. Maybe you're stronger because of it. Maybe things were turning around here. Maybe Stoicism wasn't so dumb. So day 4, again, remember I'm doing all those same things in the morning, but it's the challenge day. It's the day of going in the freezing rain with no protection. Okay, day 4 of Stoic experiment. It's cold outside, it's raining outside, so we have to do, exposure to be tough. So we're gonna go, it's locked. We're gonna go outside into the rain, and then we're gonna step into the river, even though it's cold outside, and I'm gonna stay there for 5 minutes. I just shut the door. I remember that day, it was cold, 40 degrees out, it was rainy, and I had like t-shirt and shorts on, and I also planned to step it up a notch by stepping inside like this freezing creek. When I first stepped out into that cold weather, just with the shirt and the shorts, I remember the initial feeling of, why am I doing this? This is dumb again. I can't believe I'm doing this. This is how people die. I am stupid. Romans used to do cold baths, and it was pretty cold when it was netted up, but now I feel
It's pretty cold. It's like 40 degrees. So this creek thing's got to be at least around 40 degrees, I think.
But that's my emotional brain, right? That's my weaker brain. That's not the new, strong, stoic kind of Zach. And my thinking brain took over. But really, you're gonna be okay. You're probably not gonna die from this, and you're probably actually gonna become stronger from doing this. What is a bit of cold, a bit of wind, a bit of rain? People in the Army, Navy SEALs, people experiencing real hardship go through this for days and days at a time. And that could be with no food, with no water, under the threat of being killed, right? And I'm complaining about being outside in the cold for like 20 minutes.
Dreading it a little bit because it's already cold.
And I remember this emotional brain, this kind of weak part of my brain tries to come in and kick me out of the thinking part a lot. I was going to step into the river and it was like, you can't do this. Are you dumb? It's freezing cold. You're gonna be really uncomfortable.
Very cold.
But then my thinking brain took over and it's like, you know what, maybe experiencing some discomfort is a good thing. And Marcus Aurelius said, the mind adapts and converts to its own purposes. The obstacle to our acting, the impediment to the action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The obstacle is the way.
I can't feel my feet anymore.
And so I stepped into the cold water. It was freezing. Everything in my body told me to get out, but I just sat there.
Here we go. Hiya, mama! Sita kasawa.
Really, really cold, and I was really, really uncomfortable. But I was like, I could do this. It's not a huge deal. It's not hugely bad at all.
So, now, I'm just gonna stay outside for a little bit longer, just to experience the cold without, having a jacket. I think that's the goal. It is very, very cold. That was very cold. But it's not too bad. You feel the cold, you notice, okay, it's very, very cold. But then you have to think, okay, am I gonna react to the cold? Is the cold gonna take over? Or am I gonna think, I can think through this?
Stupid? Maybe. Challenging? Yes. But did it make me mentally tougher? Definitely. Accept death in a cheerful spirit as nothing but the dissolution of the elements from which each living thing is composed. If it doesn't hurt the individual elements to change continually into one another, why are people afraid of all of them changing and separating? It's a natural thing, and nothing natural is evil. On day 5, the routine was becoming pleasurable, and the extra bonus here, I think, was the journaling and meditation. I didn't realize how good an impact just journaling or just meditating for 10 minutes each can have on the rest of your day. I was focused from the journaling, I was calm from the meditation, and they fed into each other.
So now I'm going to write what I want to accomplish today, and then I'm also going to write just thoughts. Let's see what happens.
Writing down my goals helped me crystallize my plans from this kind of not super in-focus things in my brain onto a real sheet of paper. And meditation was helping me focus on my immediate environment, the amazing things around me, like the feeling of the cool wind breeze, the pressure under my feet, the temperature of the air around me, and just everything that was going on. The sounds, the being able to see cool green colors or red colors.
Day number 5? I think it's day number 5 of the Stoic thing. What I'm liking the most, I think, so far from this is probably the journaling, funnily enough. It's really nice to just have everything planned out and written down, like right in front of me. Cold showers are good, meditation's good. But journaling I've seen the most like real-time impact.
Day 6, I went into the hardest challenge that I did during this entire experiment, and that was a 2-hour meditation. That was tough. Not eating, and going into cold weather, I felt like I could brute force my way through. But sitting down, being still for 2 hours, I knew was gonna be really tough. My body was stiff, I was jittery, and I remember I wanted to quit like 6 times in the first 30 minutes. However, there was like this magical moment after 30 minutes of sitting there where I just fell into like a blissful, calm state. I wasn't worried about the things around me. I didn't think my hip might fall off, even though that's what it felt like. I was just noticing kind of the emptiness in my head. I know you can take that and do what you will with it, but I noticed there was a blank kind of piece in the front of my forehead, a blank empty space, and I was like, this is kind of nice. I'm not thinking about what's happening later. I'm not thinking about what happened before. I'm just focusing on kind of what's going on and what's going on in my headspace. Thoughts and distractions were just passing by me. Nothing could pull me out of the state I was in. It was like I was watching the cars on a highway go by instead of getting pulled into them. I was separated from them. And the remainder of the 90 minutes wasn't so bad at all. Today, I escaped my anxiety, or no, I discarded it because it was within me, in my own perceptions, not outside. And day 7 passed by me pretty easily. I was actually happy with the routine, but I think it made me all stronger mentally because of it. The cold wasn't bad, the lack of food and water wasn't too tough, and the meditation was amazing. The thought training was absolutely fantastic. Stoicism, just from this short 7-day stint, I realized could be applied to every single thing I do in life, and it could make every single thing I do in life better. After a simple 1-week experiment, I was more grateful for everything I had. I could persevere longer at the gym or studying or anything I put my mind to. And I was more in tune with my external and my internal environment. I will continue to journal, I'll continue to meditate, I'll continue to prepare for the worst and accept whatever happens, and I'll continue to embrace the obstacles. I'm definitely gonna go drink some coffee though, sorry, Seneca. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Life is long enough, and a sufficiently generous amount has been given to us for the highest achievements if it were all well invested. But when it is wasted in heedless luxury and spent on no good activity, we are forced at last, by death's final constraint, to realize that it has passed away before we knew it was passing. So it is. We are not given a short life, but we make it short. And we are not ill-supplied, but wasteful of it. Life is long if you know how to use it. Finally, this whole Stoicism thing has taught me that I really can do anything I put my mind to. This YouTube channel has changed my life. My changed studying habits have changed my life because I was able to get into medical school, and now I'm gonna be a doctor. And there's a resource I haven't really mentioned before, but it's what enabled me to change my study habits. It's what enabled me to start editing and making YouTube videos. And this is Skillshare, who are kindly sponsoring this video. Skillshare is where I watched my first ever video on how to edit a video using Final Cut Pro. It's where I learned to optimize my time with Thomas Frank's amazing productivity masterclass. And also, I just launched my ultimate guide to Anki on Skillshare, which takes you through every step of how to set up flashcards using this software. And Anki is the reason I was able to do so well in school and kind of get into my dream medical school. Oh yeah, and there's a masterclass on Stoicism on Skillshare. Skillshare offers tons of career-focused classes, and these classes have honestly changed my life. So if my Anki class, Stoicism, starting a side hustle, or just learning cool things interest for you, I strongly suggest you join Skillshare. And if you use my link, you can get access to all of these classes completely free, because the first 1,000 people to join using my link get 1 month completely free. But if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Get out of here. I'm shooting a video, you know? Get out. You listen to me. He knows. I'm in charge.